One Piece and stuff. She came up to me and she said, you should audition for this show called Sergeant Frog. And I didn't know about this show. And there's a lot of history with this show. Apparently ADV had it like 5 times over, and Vic was Hero before I was, but they could never get it into production. And so when we got it, I took over that role. And but before that, she said, you should voice one of these frogs. And so all my life, my voice has been made fun of by like children, adults, men, women, old people. And so, since I was a little kid, they just make fun of my voice all the time. And I had a vocal coach, and this Shakespearean teacher, she was my vocal coach. She said, your voice is way back here, you need to push it forward. You need to get the nasally out of it. But the thing about it is, if you've ever heard the Vietnamese language, that is a nasal language. So that's why it's built in like that. That's what's under my hood. Like I've got the mechanics for that. So when I'm like at a, and so you're talking in Vietnamese language, it's very nasally. So that's like my uncle Todd is like, that dog got a big head right there.
Oh my!
And that's what he calls my dog. It's a dachshund lab. He goes, that dog got a big head. Like, so it's a very nasally voice. So this one time, it came in handy with Sergeant Frog. And then it became this. And so it's like, Handsome Cameron presents Otafest 2010. So I was able to do that, and so I love that role. Bingo.
Those count on the back, yes. Yes. Do you ever have weird things about your characters, like either of you? Just like really weird things about your playing or in the past? Probably. Is that what that was?
What?
When I first started doing anime and looping and stuff, I would hear beeps, like I would dream, like, because you get 3 beeps in your headphones before you record. It's like that beep, beep, beep. I would hear that in my sleep.
I've not had an anime dream or a recording dream, but if I do, I will blog about it.
What if it's yelling?
Oh, well, I said I'd blog about it. I will blog about it.
What's your marketing director, especially for Funimation, the fact that with Shuffle you voice the beats in it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Volume number 6, why did they include women's underwear with the word God in it?
Why did it include that?
Why did they include it then?
Well, what happened with that show, we did not expect it to do the numbers that it did. We thought that it was going to sell modestly, and so we didn't release a box set for it. Well, we were noticing that the show was selling very well. And so Antomir, who designs our boxes, he said, I'm going to come out with a box set for it because people have been requesting it and they like the show so much. And so the God panties come in because one of the characters wears those God panties. And I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of female exploitation in anime.
Really?
I guess. I suppose it was to tap into that panty market. And that's why. But it was awesome because we were pleasantly surprised that the show was selling well. So we wanted to do something. So we're like, we could give them a coupon for 25% off for another box set or panties. So. Yeah. And our trailers department guy, Walter, wore them, actually, on the outside of his jeans.
I'd like to see that.
I'll Twitter the picture. Will do.
We got 15 minutes left, folks.
Thank you. And the very, very back.
You guys are talking about how you, like, sometimes you have your voices blow out, but don't you guys have deadlines to making stuff? What do you do when that happens?
When your voice goes out?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes the production has to just push back. I mean, there's not a lot they can do. You know, I had just booked a original cartoon in November when I lost my voice. And they said, well, why don't you just come in for the first session, you know, we'll see what happens if it sounds that different. And I get into the studio and I'm like, there's just nothing coming out. And they're like, okay, well, go home, get some rest. I'm like, thank you. So it was just like 2 weeks, and then I went back in and
sometimes when you like when I lost my voice for Holland, I would lose my voice sometimes. And there are other roles to record. There are other side characters, wall of stuff that you can record, episode reviewing. There's things to do. The engineer can clean the episodes. So there's stuff to do. As long as like for 2 weeks, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Usually when I lose my voice, it's for a couple days, and then I'm okay to come in again. So Border Patrol.
I'm gonna regret asking this, Michelle, but in Wiki Doggo's Wiki answer, what do you think about that group of 8 episodes that can't refer to by name? It's the freaking end of it. What do you think about that? Can you answer in Wiki Doggo's voice?
What do I think about which
That
episodes?
the freaking endless age.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, Wiki Doggo's voice.
Well, I guess there's really nothing we can do. We just have to keep going through and through and through. Yeah, I've got to tell you, that really is like, oh, really? You gotta be kidding me again? Why did they do that?
No.
Did you two lose your voices like more frequently when you first started, or like did it start to like die down?
I've always had issues with laryngitis, so for me it's kind of been ongoing. It just depends on the season. Like if it's flu season and I get sick, I usually go down for a week or two, regardless of what I'm doing locally. So.
For me, when I first started, I did because I was teaching theater arts for middle school at the time, and also my schedule was much more hectic because I would teach, go into record, and then I was also running my theater company at the same time. So I would work till 3 a.m., wake up at 6:30, go to school, teach all day, voice, theater. So I would lose my voice, and I got really scared because it was during doing Suzuka, and that was my first lead role there, and I was really worried that they would replace me. And so I was really, really nervous. I was making all these phone calls because I had just replaced somebody else in something, so I was like, it can happen. And so I lost it more at the beginning, but now I take more care of my voice now, and my hearing. So I'm the Nancy boy that's in the club with like the big earplugs. They're not that big, they're not this big, but no, they're not. They're like that big. But yeah, when I go to concerts and stuff, your hearing, you need your hearing, and so like I put the earplugs in, and like people are looking and mocking, and then I kill them later. But I mean, it's fine for the time being. Hey, I'm like, hey, I gotta go in the booth tomorrow. I don't know what you're going to be doing, but I've got to do this. So that type of thing.
10 minutes.
Thank you.